Turning now to the shocking and sudden loss of Junior Bridgman and his lasting legacy here in Louisville.
We have team coverage tonight of the tributes pouring in since the news broke of his death yesterday. Many here looked up to Bridgman, not only for the player he was on the court, but more importantly, the man he was off the court.
Yeah, sports director Kent Taylor was interviewing Junior when he collapsed yesterday. Kent, I know this had to hit you like a ton of bricks, just heartbreaking. How are you doing?
Yeah, hanging in there. You know, Junior, he was an icon. For me, he was kind of a superhero. You hear all the tales of his playing days at U of L, and there's still plenty of people who say that 1974-1975 Final Four team was the best in school history. So I was honored when they asked me to interview Junior yesterday as part of the program for the Leadership Luncheon for Scouting. Junior actually flew in yesterday morning from Naples. I had talked with him at the reception before the event. I sat at his table for the luncheon, and when the two Eagle Scouts, who are the MCs, were introducing us, you know, they said Kent Taylor with like two things, and then they're rattling off a few pages of accolades about Junior. And I looked back at him sitting at the table, and he was like, time out, enough already about me, which is kind of textbook Junior. He didn't love to talk about himself. Then when we did take the stage, he discussed being Denny Crum's first recruit, that 1975 Final Four team, and its place in the pantheon of great Cards teams. And true Junior character, he said that since they didn't win it all, they really didn't deserve to be at the top. I asked him about his ties to scouting. He discussed his memories that his two sons had of the experience. He said he had asked them both for their top 3 memories. And then he stressed to the crowd the importance of giving. And this shows you a lot about who Junior was. He told a powerful story about going to a scouting meeting with his mom and his brother when he was a kid. He said that when the lady said that the uniforms were $1.25, he knew that they wouldn't be doing it because his mom couldn't afford that. And then just when I was asking him about the Milwaukee Bucks and his career there, he motioned to me and he said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And it took me for a second. Then I went over to him. I walked over to him and he said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, is there a doctor? I called for a doctor. I rushed out looking for an AED. The people in the crowd rushed to his side. And moments later, or after they got him on the ground on the stage, that he suffered a massive heart attack. Nothing could be done for him. His loss not just felt here in Louisville, but all over the country. You know, you heard NBA stars, Shaq talking about him last night. They turned to him for business advice. I remember running into him one year in the paddock at the Derby, and he had Chauncey Billups with him because Chauncey was one of his guests in town that he brought for his big Derby party and also to host up in the mansion. And for those of us fortunate enough to get to spend a little time with Junior, we were really the lucky ones. You know, the best way to describe him, it's not something you see, it's something you feel when you're kind of in someone's presence. Recognizable class. That was Junior Bridgman. You can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but you just kind of know they have it. And at this moment, I just hope that his family can take some solace in knowing that he didn't suffer. And this community lost a giant. I didn't know him all that well, but I considered him a friend and a hero. And we're all going to miss Junior Bridgman.